The geospatial imaging industry today is faced with a huge challenge, and that challenge is to take the abundance of data and information that's available and turn that into decisions. Throughout the entire geospatial imaging data food chain, Silicon Graphics has partnered with world-class system integrators and solution providers to solve the world's big data problems.
In our servers, in our supercomputers, and in our workstations is a desire to gather, understand, and comprehend and display information. We build some of the best machines for this, some of the fastest machines, indeed some of the most interesting machines that anyone's ever built. When people want to stretch the very limits of technology, they come to SGI.
Space imaging is in a global business to understand the planet so we can allow decision makers to get accurate information about infrastructure, agriculture, you almost name it. And we bring that information very quickly into the digital computer realm so it can be acted on very quickly.
The Icona satellite has a very unique capability that's never been delivered to the commercial marketplace before. It can see something as small as 3 feet across or 1 meter. 1 meter was actually the point at which we crossed a chasm in the resolution space to get to large-scale applications of information products from remote sensing data. When we started looking at what the requirements were to actually build a 1 meter system, we turned to Lockheed Martin and Raytheon, and they in turn turned to Silicon Graphics because Silicon Graphics has traditionally provided the high-end graphics capability that comes with the requirement to process 1 meter imagery.
When space imaging came to us and requested that we provide the ground stations for a commercial venture, it was very easy for us to select the Silicon Graphics computers to do that. We were already using them on our previous programs, and having the software already developed on Silicon Graphics, it was an easy choice to transition.
Part of that process of transitioning has been to work with the industry, and in this case specifically Silicon Graphics, to define the requirements that we need, not only in terms of processing rates, but in throughput, capacity, and bandwidth. Letting us define our requirements in those terms and having them provide solutions to those in terms of off-the-shelf computing platforms.
When all the data is coming down from the satellite, we need to have a high-performance, very reliable machine to catch it. Because dropping our customers' data on the floor after we've gone to all of the work of capturing it is an unacceptable solution. When you tour our ground station, you see racks and racks and racks of blue Silicon Graphics equipment, because that's the catcher's mitt that we put in place. Silicon Graphics, in our testing to date, has given us the performance, the reliability that we absolutely demand to meet our customers' needs.
Erdas specializes in what we call geographic imaging, and that's really a combination of image processing, remote sensing, and photogrammetry. We can build a model of the world just starting with photographs. We can then correct the imagery, then overlay that on the three-dimensional information we've generated, and then fly around it. Our file sizes, typical file sizes, could be anything from 250 megabytes up to 2 gigabytes just for a single file of imagery. So we need the power of Silicon Graphics workstations to actually not just manage that data, but present it in a real-time form to the user. The geographic imaging industry is about to go through a real sea change. There are a number of companies about to launch high-resolution satellites that will give us information of 1 meter resolution about the Earth's surface. We see the new range of Silicon Graphics hardware, which combines NT with the excellent graphics performance that we've become used to, as being key to us exploiting this new marketplace. One particular success story that we've had was in our dealings with the Field Support Office of the UK Military Survey. A year or so ago, they were very interested in being able to model real-world activities using satellite and aerial photographic imagery for support operations in Bosnia. And they purchased, I think, about 12 or 13 of the latest Silicon Graphics workstations to provide the people on the front line with the ability to visualize the terrain in real time. We've found that Silicon Graphics really understand imagery and graphics, and certainly providing hardware to really help us show imagery off to its best, helps us in all our markets throughout the world. Silicon Graphics are really the only company we've dealt with who understand the needs of the geographic imaging marketplace.
In the next few years, the government and military will be building hundreds of unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs. The main purpose of these remote-controlled planes is to fly around with video cameras and collect aerial video of the ground. The Raven software that we've developed takes that video, aligns video frames with a reference image, so then you can pull off geographic coordinates from video, and you can also create a large-scale mosaic from that video. Using a silicon graphics machine, our Raven software can give the user the ability to interactively adjust the warping and the stretching of the images until they get the product they want. A type of process that in the past you would start up, go home, and come back the next day to see the results. Now users have direct control through this real-time graphics. And this can be done on an O2, a very inexpensive desktop machine.
I think fundamentally, the silicon graphics price performance is what really attracts us. We get a lot of bang for the buck. Silicon graphics is always out in front of everybody else when it comes to graphics processing. And the ability to use silicon graphics hardware in our development puts us 5 years ahead of our competition.
Well, Sensor got started about 10 years ago processing images primarily from the classified national systems. And back in that day, you really didn't have a choice. You had to wait a long time to get your answers. It's now possible for the first time, really, to interactively process what we call real remote sensing images. That is very large images, very wide dynamic range imagery with standard commercial hardware.
At the high end of the silicon graphics product line, there's not another product that we've found that's comparable to it in performance and the capabilities for some of our most intensive problem solving that we do. We have quite a bit of traffic coming through our demo facility here, and specifically they're very impressed when they look at the performance using large image sets on the Onyx 2. And the comment that we hear over and over above is that the performance of the Onyx 2 is at IDEX level and above.
Silicon Graphics has been a very good partner for us. I mean, Silicon Graphics has the technology, but they also have the commitment to this market space. They have worked very closely with our engineers to ensure that the hardware and the software interact very efficiently and effectively, and it really answers the mail as far as what the customer really needs.
Autometric has been around for over 40 years. We specialize in the production, visualization, and analysis of geospatial data sets. The Edge product family specifically is used to provide a wide range of users a global, geographically valid, rich environment to do modeling and simulation.
Silicon Graphics and Autometric have had a very good relationship over the years. As Silicon Graphics has developed their hardware and computer systems, Autometric has been able to leverage that by being on the leading edge. The fact that you have a built-in geometry engine, the fact that you can rapidly move the data across your bus in the SGI is extremely important to the volumes of data that we use. We don't move just megabytes of data. We often use gigabytes of data. A single merged scene, for example, in imagery, is easily 2 gigabytes in size.
Last year when El Nino made the forefront in terms of the national news, and our relationship with CBS was highlighted by can you do El Nino type data sets? And with Edge and its global capability and the ability to show global high-resolution data sets on Silicon Graphics, we were able to bridge that gap, and now we're supporting Dan Rather in his quest to display El Nino data.
The advantage that Silicon Graphics has is their legacy in development of graphics processing hardware. It allows them to make the next leaps in technology, especially as competition becomes more and more fierce in the graphics processing market. SGI will always maintain the high end of graphics processing, and we require that high end for our most demanding software products.
SGI is uniquely situated to leverage this market, in fact, to own this marketplace. This market is fun for us, it's energizing, it leads us into technologies which are fascinating, and we're completely dedicated to the success of our customers in this space.